super awesome video game show that is totally serious and we're paying attention and everything for reals.
Wait, what is the show again?
Welcome back, everybody, to Rage Select. I am Jeff.
I'm John.
And we're starting up this brand new show. One of the things we've been, I feel bad, John, because for a long time we've been saying, like, we're going to have a bunch of new shows real soon, and then, like, we haven't. But we're starting up this brand new show where we're going to be doing some kind of tutorialization and a little bit of more serious Let's Playing. And today we're looking at Dark Souls, and this is part 2.
You need to go back and see part 1 if you haven't.
Yeah, I wouldn't start with part 2. It would be like watching The Empire Strikes Back before Star Wars. You'd be like, what's even going on here? I don't know. But we're going to go ahead and get up to one of the big sticking points for a lot of people when they first played Dark Souls, which is the Tarus demon. And let's see, what are we going to start out with here? So Tarus demon over in this direction, and I'm going to start off with this bow that I got last time. Now, bows in Dark Souls are very, very useful because you've got assholes throwing firebombs at you. You can totally kill them without having to dodge a bunch of firebombs. It's always useful, even if you're playing a real solid melee character, to have a bow, just in case. Because it's never a bad thing to be able to get rid of some of these assholes before they get up real close to you.
Yeah, I think there's a third one there.
Try to keep from falling off the side of this cliff. You can also see that I interrupted that guy halfway through him throwing the bombs, which is a useful little thing. Oops, shit. All right. So you can use the bow in this kind of like first-person shooter perspective, but you can also totally use it by locking on like you do with any normal thing and then just shooting people with it. I don't really use bows very much outside of just kind of for utility. Because once those guys get up close to you, it's a little bit more difficult to hit at them. But as we go forward here, I did want to point this out. So you see down there where that guy, you got a little shiny thing by that guy, and then like down here, you see there's a bonfire and a street and stuff.
There's a dude standing down there.
Is there a dude?
Like, oh no! I saw the text and I thought it was a guy from the angle.
There's some dogs down there, but like you can see, there's like a stairway going down there that goes up to this area that we're going into. You're totally going to go down there later. This isn't just scenery or background. You're going to end up going back down that way. Once again, reiterating that it is useful to know, kind of be familiar with the area that you're in, because this whole game twists back on itself over and over and over again.
Yeah. Now, I will say, going on that, the fact that you're pointing out that a lot of it is the same. You go to these other places and you see in the background. Mm-hmm. One of the complaints I used to hear about this game from people who are playing it for the first time is that it's not a very pretty game. Everything looks very low res, low. Well, the reason is because that entire world is explorable and has creatures in it, and it's
also, I mean, it's worth noting that Dark Souls is available on the PC, the Prepare to Die edition.
Yeah.
And if you go out and there's a guy that made a mod to up the resolution, up the frame rate and stuff. It actually looks really nice. It's just, part of what we're talking about here is just the aesthetic of the game. This is a dying world. The fire has gone out of this world, and it is slowly kind of slipping into darkness. So there are actually areas in here which are very pretty, not this area. Yeah. This area is kind of gross and scummy and full of zombie assholes.
Well, I mean, what I mainly meant is not that it looks pretty or anything like that, but that it kind of there are games that came out around the same time that obviously graphically wise may look a lot more high quality on both the PlayStation 3 or the Xbox 360 or whatever console you're playing this on.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, it's like when it came out, once you realize how big this world is, and the fact that that's not a background painting or rendering, that's
a place.
That's places where you have to go. It's like, oh yeah, no, the game has to render all of that.
Yeah.
So that totally makes sense to help the console's processing power. It brings it down. I don't know. I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah. Well, it's actually funny. You can see, once again, just to point this out, see this up here? See that parapet and this bridge here?
Yeah.
We're totally going there.
Awesome.
We're going to, when we get there, I will show you, because it all loops back in. Now, as we go forward here, we went into that door before. This door, if you didn't have the master key, you needed to buy that residence key that we saw earlier. And if you do that sort of stuff and you look around for these like little areas, you will get places like this where you are essentially coming at enemies from a different angle that will allow you to get, some free hits or a little bit better of an angle on them. Jerk. So it's always useful to, like I said, take your time. Don't rush. Rushing is bad.
Yes.
So as we go through here, we're going to the first major boss, which is I've seen a lot of people when they start playing this game where the Tarus demon is a real stumbling block. And I think it's because by this point, the game, if you're not really paying attention to like a lot of the stuff that I'm pointing out and talking about, you can kind of just bully your way to this first boss in the game without too much difficulty and a lot. Oh, don't you even think about it.
Ooh, nice.
You can bully your way to this point without having noticed a lot of this stuff. And so the Tarus demon can end up being like the first place where you seriously hit a stumbling block that you have to figure out how to get around. Now, this is worth pointing out. You know how I was talking about explore, explore, explore?
Yes.
Well, down here, we've got a little place where you may be exploring, and you're like, oh, look, Jeff told me to explore. But this guy, he's not exactly the sort of dude that you want to be messing with right now. And I'm not saying that for, like, experienced players. Yeah, you totally go down there and kill the shit out of that guy. But if you're just exploring, like, that guy down there is way harder than these assholes here. He's got a full suit of armor. He hits really hard. And
he doesn't look like a skeleton.
Yeah. It's worth noting that, if you explore, you're sometimes going to find places that you're not supposed to be, and you need to be willing to, like, not try to bang your head up against those things. Ooh, I just got an extra Estus flask. All right, so this is a lesson that we learned back in the asylum, that people are going to kick stuff down at you, so... if you're paying attention to your environment, that's a pretty easy one to avoid. Bye-bye, asshole. Once again, we also have, if you have the master key, it will unlock doors that you can't normally unlock otherwise, that will take you to places where you're really not supposed to be right now. Like, if you go down here, in fact, you know what? I think I'll take a minute and just run. Well, it's pretty far down there. There's a guy down there that has an incredibly useful item that I always try to get very early on in the game. He is also very, very difficult if you're just starting out, and he will kill you in one hit. So if you feel like you're really good at the game, you can go down there and try to get that thing off him. But behind him is a door that actually opens up to an area of the game that if you're just playing normally, you're not going to get to for a while, depending on how much you're exploring. And speaking of exploring... that asshole.
Who's that little guy?
That is a crystal salamander asshole, and he has upgrade materials that we want. So if you see these guys, they are going to run away from you, and they're going to try to run to a wall, and if they get to the wall, they're going to disappear. But whenever you see them, you want to take them out because they've got upgrade materials that you can't get otherwise. And oh, shit, look, he's still moving. He's still alive. Oh, well. But yeah, whenever you see one of those little guys, you want to be prepared to kill the fuck out of them immediately because there are a finite number of them in the game, and if you keep whiffing on them, I believe they'll leave. Like, you won't be able to get them, and they have very important materials that are expensive if you buy them. Now here we have another gray door, imminent safe zone. That's a total lie. And we know from earlier that when we go through these, a lot of times we're going to hit a boss. It's a level transition. In fact, looking at this area...
you can see another gray door.
Another gray door that we can't go through, and we've got a nice enclosed area. Chances are there's going to be a boss here. Now, if we're doing our diligence, like I've been teaching everybody, and we're looking around, we see...
Hey, look at that ladder.
What? Ladder? Which the first time that I went into this area, I did probably the same thing that everybody else did, which is I didn't see that ladder. I didn't come up here, and then these assholes were shooting arrows at me the entire time I was dicking around with the Tarus demon. So... searching is in your best interest. All right, now, as we went through the Undead Burg, we got a couple of items. We got the black fire bombs and the gold pine resin. And if you look at these, you go into this equipment page and you look at the description, it'll tell you what they do. In this case, gold pine resin applies lightning to your right-hand weapon. Black fire bombs are a ranged weapon that you throw them and, bombs made of fire. So... a lot of times you can kind of assume that if the game is giving you this sort of stuff, they probably want you to use it in certain places. which is definitely the case here. If you try to take the Tarus Demon just straight up, a lot of times he will be a real pain in the ass. But if you use the stuff that you've been given, he can be incredibly simple. Now, the other thing before we get to him is that we learned in the Asylum that if we jump down on somebody and attack them, we get to do a big old amount of damage on them. So let's go ahead and give that a try with our fancy lightning sword. I'm going to go forward here.
Oh,
Boom.
crap. That guy's huge.
Yep. All right, now let's get the hell away from him and see if we can't jump down on him and get ourselves a free hit. Which, you know, if you're going to do this, you got to do it immediately because he's pretty freaking fast. And if you stand up here for too long, he will jump up and mess you up. So, oh, there we go. All right. So we got a big old chunk of his health with that.
Yeah.
We've also got our black fire bombs, which, as you can see,
Oh, wow.
just jack him the shit up without ever having to get close to him and stay outside of his range.
Kill it with fire.
Mm-hmm. And if you want to, you can get in real close, and you can either use your normal weapon or your gold pine resin to just fuck him
Electric
the fuck
sword
up.
to the ass.
That's right. So, boom. There you go, guys. If you're having problems with the Tarus Demon, he's pretty easy if you kind of know what you're doing.
If you prepare for it.
Yeah. Now, you see that we got a Homeward Bone there. Those are really useful items. They warp you back to whatever the last bonfire you were at.
Oh, nice.
So we're going to go down here. Got a little shinies back here. Yep. Pick up some souls. And come out here. And look at that. That's that bridge that we saw from earlier. Now, I'm not going to go there right this second because we got this place over here where we have my favorite character in the entirety of Dark Souls, Solaire. This guy, he is awesome. He's just staring at the sun.
Ah, hello.
He seems completely oblivious to everything that is going on here. And he gives you what you could argue is the single most useful item in the entire game. You guys can read all that on your own time.
I have a proposition, if you have a moment.
He's kind of creepy, but interesting. So yeah, let's see what he has to say.
The way I see it, our fates appear to be intertwined
Mm-hmm.
in a land brimming with hollows.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you say? Why not help one another on...
Sure.
This pleases me greatly. Well then, take this.
And he gives you the white sign soapstone, which lets you play multiplayer.
We are amidst strange beings in the flow of time itself.
So blah, blah, blah,
Very
blah.
tragic. There's no telling how much longer. But use this.
And
Summon one another as
he's
soon
telling you that you can use that to
as
summon
the
people into your
gap
game
and
and engage in jolly cooperation.
Of course, we are not the... But if you miss it...
Now, the other thing that you can do with Solaire, you can't do it right this second, but he also will let you join a covenant. And there are a whole bunch of covenants in the game. And they all have a different like bonus that you get. His covenant is one that I'm really going to suggest to brand new players. They call them the Sun Bros online, the Covenant of the Sun. Basically makes it way easier for other people to summon you into their games, which is very, very useful. Now, looking at this bridge, there's something that the first time I knew a little bit of something from another game, but like, there's something that's not entirely right going on here. We got scorch marks on this bridge. Got a bunch of guys. Seems a little bit too easy, if you ask me. And look, there's that asshole that we saw earlier. There's that fucking dragon. So we're going to just run in here like a jerk and see if we can... I'm not going to just run right up into his face. I'm going to go back down here. And this is going to show you guys something that I've mentioned before. So if you go over here, you've got this ladder, right? And if you kick this ladder down, it opens up a ladder that takes you back to... Whee! Right here. Remember this bonfire where we started out?
Hey, yeah.
So this is another switchback that we can use to get back to where we were.
Nice.
Now, I'm going to try a couple things here, and it's going to kind of depend on if I'm able to get into a multiplayer game or not. before I do, though, I'm going to show you guys one other thing that is incredibly useful. Because I'm going to try to get into a multiplayer game to show you guys some stuff about multiplayer. But before I do that, this is just a little side tip. If you're brand new to Dark Souls, if you come up here, you can go up to that bridge, but you got the dragon up there. But if you come here, this is remember the underside of the bridge that we saw?
Yeah.
This is the underside of that bridge. In fact, I think if we look down here, we can see where we were looking at it from, right?
Oh, I
Remember
know.
that?
Yeah.
Where all the guys with the firebombs were? So you got this dragon that's sitting up there. If you get yourself a bow and you stand here and you time this right, you can shoot this dragon's tail. Oh, no, a little bit more this way. All right. See, it hits him. He gets all pissed off. He comes over here. Then he goes back, and then you can shoot it again. A lot of the dragons in this game, if you are able to hit their tails enough, their tails will come off and become weapons. That guy's tail right there, it is worth buying the arrows to get and upgrading your guy to whatever it takes, or lady, to whatever it takes to get that tail as a useful weapon, because for the first, third to half of the game, that weapon is way overpowered, and it will serve you very, very well. Eventually, when you get later on in the game, you're going to want weapons that upgrade with your stats, like I was showing you earlier. But early on in the game, that Werven tail is exceptionally useful. So let's go ahead and go down here, and now we will answer questions about humanity. So when you rest at a bonfire, you can spend a humanity to reverse your hollowing effect. And that turns you'll see the results immediately, human.
Pray to whatever gods you have, human.
So now, you see we don't look like a fucking Hot Pocket or bacon or whatever. Now, when you're human, you can summon other people into your game, or you can be, you don't have to be human to be summoned into a game, but you do have to be human to summon other people into your game.
Okay.
Also, when you're human, other people can invade your game. Now, there is something about that. A lot of people don't like the fact that if you're playing online that other people can come into your game and try to kill you. But it's worth noting that that's only an issue if you're in an area where you have not beat the boss yet. So in this area, since I've already beaten the Tarus demon, I will never get invaded. But if I'm in the next area before beating the gargoyles, which is the next boss, then I can be invaded. So as long as you're in an area where you've already beaten the boss, you can be human all day long, and it doesn't matter. Nobody can come into your game. It's also worth noting, I think I've already got it in my thing. Yeah, so here you've got the humanities that I've been picking up over the course of the game. If you use those, they will add one humanity to your soft humanity up there. It's also worth noting that when you die, you drop humanity as well as souls. So be careful about how much you have just sitting up there. The other thing that you can use humanity for in the beginning here is kindling a bonfire, which, at the Firelink Shrine, we had 10 Estus flasks. Here, when we rested, we only got 5. But when we kindle the bonfire, now we're getting 10 out of here instead of 5. Eventually, you're going to get an item that lets you jack that number up a little bit more. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now is I'm going to take a little bit of a gamble here. We're going to talk a little bit about magic. But while we talk about magic, I'm going to leave my summon sign and hope that I get pulled into somebody else's game. So in general, this is another thing that really messed me up the first time I played through the game. I would put my summon signs, or I would look for other people's summon signs right outside of where the boss to the area was, right? But that is generally not where you want to put your summon signs. You want to put them down at the very beginning of an area. So wherever you got the bonfire, you want to put it down right here, because what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to lead the other player all the way through that area to the boss. You're not going to pick them up right before the boss. You're going to want to go with them all the way there. So you'll generally find fewer summon signs right before a boss than you will at the beginning of the area going all the way to the boss. So while that's there, I'm going to go back a little bit. At a certain point, my summon sign is going to disappear. And I'm not sure how many people are online and playing right now, so this may be the sort of thing I have to cut and show you guys later. But you put down your summon sign, and then eventually when you get back to the last place where there was a white fog door, your summon sign will disappear. So in this case, I believe it's this door down here. Does it want to go through here? Yeah. So
Oh.
So we'll come back to that in a few minutes. You know, you guys can be real jerks sometimes. And in the meantime, we're going to go over upgrading magic and
Yeah, because we haven't used any magic yet.
Yeah. So unless you start the game as a sorcerer or a pyromancer, generally you don't have any magic. Magic in Dark Souls is divided into 3 categories.
Okay.
You have sorcery, magic, right? That is based on your character's intelligence stat.
Okay.
You've got miracles, essentially cleric magic, which are based on your faith stat. And then you've got pyromancy, which is generally the magic for everybody else because it's not based on really any stat. You can totally be a warrior spec for all kinds of swords and armor and stuff. And if you have that kind of loadout, you're probably going to want to use pyromancy because you can just buy it. It just costs lots of souls to buy and upgrade.
Yeah.
Regular old sorcery magic tends to have some of the most powerful spells in the game. The cleric magic, faith-based magic, is a little bit more supportive. They have a couple of good offensive spells, but a lot more stuff that just kind of alters the gameplay. And then the pyromancy is kind of a mix of the two. But if you're looking to be a straight mage, you're going to want to just go with a straight intelligence-based character. There's also a stat here called attunement. Attunement is the number of spells that you can have at any one time, and I'll show you guys that in a few minutes. So before I go down here any further, this lady right here is the Firekeeper. And eventually you're going to get a Firekeeper soul. Don't do what I did and use it, because it gives you a bunch of humanity. You want to bring that thing to her and use it to reinforce your Estus flasks, because that just makes each individual Estus flask give you back more health than it does normally. And there's like 3 or 4 of them in the game. So you can get up to like +4 or 5. I mean, you can keep upgrading it, but you're going to be looking at New Game Plus at that point.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and go down here.
So where are you taking us, Jeff?
New Londo. Not the same as old Londo. And there's a few things down here. When I first started the game, I tried coming to this place first. That was a mistake. You should not start your game down here. Now, there are a couple things down here that are very useful. One of them is this little place over here, where if you have a master key, and you come over here, you open this, you get a shortcut through the Valley of the Drakes to Blighttown. That's where this goes. I'm not actually going to go in there, but Blighttown, if you remember, is where the second bell is.
Oh, yeah. The guy was telling us about that.
Right. So if you go down, you remember those steps that I pointed out earlier on the side that went down to where the bonfire was?
Yeah.
That's the traditional way to get to Blighttown. You remember when we came to where the bridge was earlier? There was we went through a door, and there was a second door. That door will take you down through another part of the Undead Burg, and then you'll go into Blighttown. But you can totally just skip all that if you have the master key and you open up that door over here. Over here, we have New Londo, which you should not be going to. I'm going to go there to show you guys something real fast. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do my magic first, because if I die, I don't want to lose all my souls. So, dude, don't be sad. It's all right. It's going to be okay, buddy. It's going to be fine. So, a lot of people don't even know.
They're very cheerful here.
This guy is down here. Yeah, they're all just like writing emo songs, and this guy's just chillaxing. He's just enjoying the view. Yeah, you got the right idea, pal. He might be dead. Are you dead?
He looks like he's moving.
No, he's alive. So, okay, if we go down here, we've got this guy.
And more importantly, you're free. Well, I'm Rickert.
Rickert of Vinheim. And he will sell you some magic. He's actually, early on in the game, the best way to get magic. He will also do some upgrading for you. So this goes into the upgrade system. We've been picking up some shards before.
Yeah.
And so you'll see when you go into this, you've got longsword. You can make it into a longsword +1 if you have 1 Titanite shard. So if you do that, your sword gets better. once you get it costs more every time you do it, but once you get your sword up to, I believe it's +5 or no, +10, you can do modify equipment and ascend your sword to a magic sword, a lightning sword, a fire sword, etc. That's more advanced than you guys probably need right now. You're going to find a guy later that'll do all this stuff way cheaper, or he's just more convenient to go to. You can also reinforce individual pieces of armor with Titanite shards. But what we really want from this guy is we want to buy some of the magic stuff that he's got. So we want a Sorcerer's Catalyst, and we want to buy Soul Arrow. I'm going to leave Heavy Soul Arrow for the time being. And that's it. So that's some... this is just regular old magic. And I'm going to take a little bit of a roundabout way back to the Firelink Shrine by dying over here. Now, if you guys decide, if anybody playing this game decides they want to go and mess with the New Londo ruins at the beginning of the game, I wish you luck. The New Londo ruins are full of ghosts, and ghosts cannot be even hit with regular weapons. In order to hit a ghost, you need to have one of two. You need to be cursed, or you need to have one of these, which I picked up, the Transient Curse. If you look at it, it says the only way to fight back against ghosts who are cursed beings is to become cursed oneself. Now, later on in the game, you could find these enemies that will curse you, but it means that you're stuck at half health the entire time. It is much better to use a Transient Curse, which is it lasts for a little while, than it is to get yourself cursed, because it's just a pain in the ass. So here are our ghosts, and they are kind of sucky. I don't think I'm not really going to mess with them because I don't have the strength to do so. What I am going to do is I'm going to try to get... where is it? No, I think it's down here. Through here. I'm going to try to get myself over here and get this, which is a Firekeeper Soul. And then if I don't think I've got the time to do this before they kill me, but I'm going to try to use a Homeward Bone. Nope. Oh no, they got me. No, wait, they didn't get me, but there are too many of them on me. I'm just going to get killed.
You can't use the Homeward Bone.
You have to use it, so they can interrupt you like they would any normal person. But if you come down here and pick up that Firekeeper Soul, like early on in the game, it's going to give you a +1 Estus Flask, and all you have to do is run in and get it, and then get the fuck out. So now that we're back at the bonfire, I'm going to pop some souls, and we'll talk a little bit about magic, and then I'm going to try to get some multiplayer going. Let's see here. So first things first, let's go ahead and equip that Sorcerer's Catalyst, which requires... What's your requirement? 10 magic? Okay. And pop some of our souls. Those souls that we've been picking up, you can use those to basically gain souls, which I'm going to use to upgrade. Oh, you know what? These are crappy ones. Let's use the big ones. Might have messed up just a little bit here, but... Oops. Oh, no. All right. Let's see if I can get my magic up to 10. Let's see how much I need to do that. Intelligence up to 10. So there we go. Now I have enough intelligence to be able to wield that catalyst correctly. Then you're going to go to attune your magic. Oh, I need some slots. I think you have to get up to 10 in order to get an attunement slot. Yep. Okay, so I'm going to need a few more souls. How much time are we at over there? What's this say? Okay. God, I hope this is enough. Should have had that Homeward Bone ready. I probably could have gotten back here. Okay, so now you see over there where it says attunement slots.
Yeah,
it's going up to 1. The way that that magic works in Dark Souls is very much the same as the way a lot of other things work. Is you have a specific number of slots that you can put magic into, and then you see how each thing has a number of uses.
Yeah.
So magic in this game is like Estus Flasks. I have 30 shots with Soul Arrow before I have to get to another bonfire. So you have a limited resource when it comes to that, which is why you'll a lot of times see mages that can also use melee weapons because, you don't want to be wasting all of your magic on these little piddly motherfuckers. But magic is also incredibly useful, as you can see, especially regular old soul arrow homes in on enemies from a distance and will allow you to be much more tactical in the way that you move. So, like I said, even if you're using pyromancy, it's worth it to have some magic present when you're playing through the game. The first time I played through this game, I played with a pure melee character, and it wasn't until about 3/4 of the way through the game that I got to places that I literally could not get past without using magic. Because pyromancy also has some buffs that you can do, which, if you're a melee character, make the game way easier. So, all right, let's go ahead and try to get into somebody's game. Try to get back up to where we were. Okay, you know what? Just don't be a jerk. Don't be a jerk. So what do you think, John? Are you ready to play Dark Souls? Are you ready to put 6 billion hours into Dark Souls?
I don't know. I feel like I could if I wanted to.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm ready for it though.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
Now, just like melee weapons, your magic gets stronger the more intelligence you have. But there's also a point that you get to where you start getting diminishing returns as far as what you're getting back for putting points into that stat.
Yeah.
So, just be careful with that stuff. A lot of times you can get items that'll buff you that are much more useful than, putting points into a specific stat. So I'm going to go ahead and put my summon sign down again here. And then we're going to wait for a couple minutes and see. I'm going to go ahead and just we're going to cut because I'm not going to sit here and make you guys wait this entire time.
Probably a good idea.
Yeah.
We have been summoned.
We have been summoned to another world of Ice Shade 1994.
We're in the year 1994?
Yeah, that's
Crazy.
right. So here's some general etiquette for when you're in multiplayer. When you're in multiplayer, your life is forfeit. If somebody's got to die first, it better be you. Are you going to be nice, dude? I'm going to, let's see. Bow. It's always nice to bow or wave. Okay, that was a little weird looking. But when you're multiplayer, your life is forfeit. If you have a choice between somebody dying, whether it's you or the host, it's always going to be you first. You always want to make it you before them, because if you die, they get to continue on with all of the progress. But if they die, you get kicked out of their world, and it's all over. You can have up to 2 other people in your world summoned at any particular time. So it looks like this guy hit my summon sign, and then he immediately ran forward while I was being summoned. So yeah, when you're in somebody else's world, this is so important. You are the protector, and when you have summoned other people into your world, do not run ahead of them. Let them take the lead, because once again, their lives are more forfeit than yours. The other thing that you're going to notice is down there, you see that my Estus flask is grayed out. You cannot heal yourself when you are in soul form in somebody else's game unless you use humanity. So if you are the person who has summoned other people into your world, one of your primary jobs is to keep them alive, because they can't heal themselves, but you can heal them. So if he drinks an Estus flask, I get the benefit of that. So once again, keep them safe.
That was actually well done.
Mm-hmm. Are we going to go fight this guy? All right. I don't know if that's a good idea, bro. We get to see this guy. This guy's probably on a New Game Plus. I don't know if he really... Oh, yeah. Okay, he wants to fight him. Now, you see how he's walking real slow? He's going to backstab that guy. And the way that you do stealth in this game is if you walk slowly, they can't hear you. So he whiffed that. But I can sit back here. I'm not really supposed to be doing it like this. But I'm trying to get this guy to get after me so that he'll turn around and let my buddy there backstab him. There you go. Okay, so I'm going to backstab him now. Try. There we go. Totally got him. Oh,
Well
nope,
nope.
nope. See, that's what I'm saying about this guy being somebody you probably don't want to mess with early on. It's nice to have somebody else. It's nice to have a partner so that you can do what we're doing right here and basically just gangbang
I
them.
think he's dead now.
Yeah. So behind him is actually there's a ring on this guy. It's actually one of the things that I pointed out that you can see earlier on in the game. Now, I don't know if this guy's going to want to mess with Havel, but if he does, we're probably not going to do it. Also, it's worth noting that if you, now that I'm summoned into somebody else's game, this guy is totally open to invasion from other people. He's just going to eat that? All right. Cool, I guess. It's hard to tell, whether this guy is brand new or whether he's doing like a New Game Plus thing. Oh, okay. He wants to mess with Havel, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, good. Thank you. I wasn't really super happy about having to do that.
that was weird. Why open the door? I guess open the door just in case.
Yeah, I did the same thing. Now, the first time that I played through Dark Souls, I didn't do very much either summoning other people or being summoned myself, but it is incredibly useful. If you can't get by a boss, there are some bosses in this game where if you are... Where did he go? There's some bosses in this game that if you're playing...
He probably went down to fight Havel.
Oh, dude. Okay. I'm going to die. There's some bosses in this game that seem incredibly difficult. First time you get to Ornstein and Smog, it's going to be incredibly difficult. Please don't tell me. Did you really? Oh, goodness. Goodness gracious.
He's naked.
Well, you can't take a hit from this guy. He's a heavy, heavy knight. I hope this guy knows what the fuck he's doing because it's going to be difficult to even block. See how he's parrying and riposting him? But that guy, Havel here, is not fucking around. So I'm going to try to get his attention by backstabbing him, which is a stupid thing to do because then he's going to come after me. Uh-oh. What are you doing, dude? Oh, he's parrying and riposting. Okay, there, he's backstabbing him. So, yeah, this guy, his equipment, he drops a ring. And that ring basically lets you... It doubles your encumbrance as long as you're wearing it. So as long as you're wearing Havel's ring... Oh, shit. See, he almost totally just got killed. As long as you're wearing Havel's ring, like if your normal encumbrance is 40, it becomes 80 as long as you're wearing that ring. In the early game, it's incredibly useful because it can get you down to that under a quarter equip weight with a lot of the opening equipment in the game. It's just, as you can see, this guy is harder than the Tarus demon at this particular stage in the game. And if he hits you with that giant club, you're pretty much screwed.
Yeah, well, I mean, look at him. He's only got like a sliver of health left.
No, he's got... yeah, my bro over
there. Your bro over there.
Yeah. Okay. He got the backstab. But this is worth... I mean, it's worth seeing... A lot of times when people summon you into the game this early, they're going to be doing so at that particular summon point specifically to have you help them
do
kill
stuff
Havel.
like this.
Right.
Yeah.
And as you can see, if you've got two people, like if this guy was just engaging me all by himself, it would be much more difficult because right now we're able to just trade back and forth backstabs. I get his attention, he comes at me, and then he backstabs him until he gets his attention and then he turns around. Like, that's taking a guy that should be much more difficult and making him way easier through jolly cooperation.
Oh, close.
So, use multiplayer. I know that at first it's going to be a little bit, like, you may be a little bit worried about other people coming into your game and killing you. And in fact, that may happen. But do not let that put you off of multiplayer because... it is so much easier to play this game when you've got people that are helping you. Oh, shit. Still aggro on this guy. Oh, fuck. Whoa. Later on in the game, you actually get the full set of what this guy is wearing, all of Havel's armor. And it's good. It's heavy as shit, but it's good. So there he goes.
Havel is dead.
Havel is dead. And he gets the ring. Let me go ahead and give him a quick little like, hey, buddy, come on, let's go. Put your dirty loincloth away. Oh, okay.
That's all he wanted.
Yeah, that's all he wanted. So we're being sent home. Normally, when you go all the way to the end of the level and you beat the boss, you get humanity, which is useful because you don't need humanity to get into somebody else's game. But if you go help somebody else, you'll get the humanity that you need to bring other people into your game.
Oh, okay.
So use multiplayer. And with that, this is pretty much the end for right now.
Yeah.
There's pyromancy, there's miracles, there's all kinds of stuff coming up. There's the giant boar and stuff like that. But this is a good intro to Dark Souls. You got a little bit of multiplayer. You got some stuff that is useful to know when you first start the game. You can also...
I feel more educated.
Yeah. Everybody should.
Yeah.
So with that, folks, this is the brand new show that we're having on Rage Select. Like I said, it's going to be less... It's going to be a little bit more... Oh, you motherfucker.
Sometimes it'll be a little bit of a tutorial like we're doing right now. Sometimes it'll just be us playing a game that is a little bit out of the wheelhouse of the other shows.
We also wanted a place to put early access.
Yeah, like early access. And, you know, sometimes it'll be Jeff is the knowledgeable one. Sometimes I'll be the knowledgeable one. Sometimes we'll both be super knowledgeable about it.
Yep.
That's kind of the way we're going to go about it. And we'll see how it goes. And...
So let us know in the comments what you guys think about this.
And if there are any games you want us to play.
Yeah. Was it useful? Is there something that you've been struggling with that you maybe want us to take a look at? Are there any particular early access games that we haven't looked at that you'd be interested in knowing whether they're worth a damn? You know, all this stuff. Let us know in the comments, and we will catch you next time.
Later.